Welcome to Ministers Talking a weekly program where Rev Briz and Rev Z and their guests chat about current affairs, world events, spiritual principles, and any old they want to talk about. Based on the new thought philosophy and ancient wisdoms, Ministers Talking shares a visionary perspective of the evolving spiral called spiritual living. Join us each week as we explore the emerging paradigm of life on planet Earth and beyond.
Off.
Oh, good. There we go. Good morning, dear ones. I'm not doing my job. Now I am. Welcome to Ministers Talking Shit. It's Friday morning, and I'm here with my dear brother Reverend Elzia Sekou, Senior Minister of the Center for Spiritual Living, Denver. And here we go. See, it's another week. I missed chatting with you last week because it was the day before the No Kings rally, and Rev Skip and I had a great conversation. It was a lot of fun, and we were looking at how to be smart, and it was very, very, from my perspective, it was very good to see 7 million or more people in the streets, and for the most part, peacefully demonstrating.
Yes.
As we're now saying, a peaceful uprising in consciousness. And I just found out a Substack article that I wrote around the idea of no kings as an uprising in consciousness, an opportunity for that. Got picked up by one of our colleagues, and she's going to use it as the central focus point of a weekly meeting that she does around what is it? Pizza, spirituality, and brew. So it sounds like they get together at a pizza joint to eat and drink and talk about spirituality. So they're going to talk about an uprising in consciousness. And so it's been a good week, but it's been kind of a crazy week too in that regard.
Yeah, well, the thing that impressed me, and I'm gonna do the typical mathematical plus or minus terms of numbers, but I think the number came in to be something like 2,700 cities and locations participated in the King's March on the 18th, with, like you said, somewhere around the 7 million count of people being involved, which is saying a lot to me, right?
Yeah.
And the question becomes, who's listening, right? We know those people who are out there supporting that were doing a little bit more than listening. They were getting involved, but who's paying attention to some of the outlandish things that are being done by this current administration that really sets the stage for people to start thinking, is this a kingship or autocracy or a monarch, or what the heck is being established here? Of course, the latest thing this week is the demolishing of the East Wing. That's, I think they said, like 100 years old, that was torn down, not remodeled, as you were saying in the back room, not remodeled, not renovated, but demolished. So 100 years of history just got demolished without any input from anyone other than himself.
Yeah.
And building this great big bar. He's only going to be there for a couple of years. It probably won't even be finished before he's done. What kind of balls are they going to have in this gigantic ballroom?
Yep, exactly. You have to wonder if he didn't also plan that for the Monday following this rally. Oh yeah, you all want to go out in the streets and march and say that I'm no good and F me and this and get rid of me? Well, watch this. And bring in the bulldozers. And I want to find, I imagine the internet sleuths already are, but I can't imagine this is going to be good for the construction company that took that contract. Not in the long run. Because at a certain point, Trump's done.
Yeah.
Whether he makes a natural passing or actually is removed from the House by the military after someone else wins the next election. And that's kind of my like, I got my ballot the other day in the mail and there's nothing in it. I forgot it's an off year, right? There's a school board initiative, and there's something about this or that or the other thing, but there's no real substance. And that's kind of, I've started to realize that's kind of a weird twist in our election cycle, is that we give somebody like this so much power, but there's no real voter check on that power for a couple of years. Right? Voters are going to turn. We got a whole nother year to get voters mobilized to come in and do something that changes Congress and changes some stuff.
Well, one thing that this current administration is extremely good at, although it's not a good thing, I believe, is total distraction of the people.
Yeah.
Because when you look at all of the things, right, we got 22, 23, 24. I'm not sure what the day is anymore. I guess it's the 24th, since it started on October 1st, of the shutdown, with people, with federal employees laid off. So 1 month now they won't get paid, and a lot of services that take about a month to unravel. That's why they came up tidbit with the 2 weeks vacation. They used to make 2 weeks vacation so that if you were doing anything that was off kilter, it would show up in 2 weeks because you wouldn't be able to finagle. Well, the same thing happens when it's the right thing. In 2 weeks, anything you got played to unravel if it's not intended to. So that's just one thing. Then we got the King's March. Then we're still blowing up ships in international waters, saying they're carrying drugs and terrorists and everything, but nobody's confirmed that really. Then you got the misfire of all the stuff going on over in Gaza. Not that that's our issue, so to speak, but the president has inserted himself as the peacemaker in that. Then that's just 3 or 4 things. The Supreme Court giving him power to still go out to Portland. I mean, when are we as a people going to wake up and see that this is a disaster waiting to happen if we can't step in and avert it?
I don't want to say this, but it may be a little too late. We're buying beef from overseas while American ranchers are starting to realize they've been screwed over. Donnie the con man just keeps conning. And I want to acknowledge, I'm pretty sure this is Reverend Michael Mangus with us here. I'm voting next election, even though there's nothing on the ballot, just to stay in practice. Right? I don't want anybody to think we hate America. I don't want anybody to think we're telling you not to be involved. We're not giving up. We're not sitting, and we want you to vote, even if it is only for a school board election or a local town race or whatever it might be, a city election. Right? We want people voting, and we want you to vote every opportunity you're legally allowed to take, because we cannot. We have to, at the very least, let our opposition be known, and there are small little wins, I guess. Sometimes, have you seen this this guy in Ohio with following the National Guard officers? So there's a guy, I forget which city it is in Ohio. He's got a TikTok channel, and he's following National Guardsmen around and filming them and playing the Imperial March from Star Wars. Dum, 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 right? The Darth Vader theme, some would call it. And he's got video of some of these guys kind of smiling and laughing and thinking it's kind of funny. And he's got some of them giving him the hairy stink eye and all. Well, there's also reporting that I'm seeing that just over this past week, one of those groups of guardsmen took it so personally that they had a local police officer. The National Guardsmen instructed a local police officer to detain this man, and he was put in cuffs and detained for around 15 minutes because their feelings were hurt, because he was exercising his free right, his American right to free speech. When the National Guard is ordering local police to detain a United States citizen simply for walking behind them and playing music, I don't think we're at the point of raising alarm bells any longer. I think we've got to find a way for people to get much, much more involved, because it isn't anti-American.
You know,
it's having military in the streets is anti-American.
I think I'm trying to get my words together after hearing, this total disregard for the Constitution, right? But when you think about, now I get it, we all have feelings and emotions. That just comes with the territory. I get that. But when you've taken a job to at least be able to maintain a balance in that realm of humanness, and you allow yourself to be upset by music and a few words, and you're carrying a gun, that becomes very problematic, because at what word do I need to say, or what song do I need to play for that stare, that stare and that call to the police department becomes an aim and shoot, because I hit some nerve, and it kills me when people say, oh, patriotic, you were talking about patriotism and everything, and patriotism to me is the ability to take the left and the right and the center and look at it in its wholeness to make this a place where we can exhibit the community and the upholdment of this idea, right? And that's not taking place now. We're further left and further right than any other time that I can remember in my lifetime. And I'm not sure, as you said, I'm not sure if this, the train is going down the hill. I don't know if we can stop it. Now, that's not being doom and gloom. That's just pure mathematics. When momentum takes over, it's going to, you can step in front of that moving train if you want, a car or a bike, or you pick something that has momentum and is going downhill. At a certain point, it has to be reassembled. Let me just put it that way. And I don't know if we're at the reassembly point now or not.
I'm reminded of an old song, right? Big locomotive, right on time. Big locomotive number 99 loses his brakes and open up the main line, because that train ain't gonna stop. There's nothing there to stop it. And unfortunately, right now, it would appear that the people that do have the ability actually to maybe lay some tile across, lay something across the tracks, derail this sucker, put some sandbags on the rails or something to do. They're all scared. They're all not willing. They're all sycophants and trying to make their due off of it all. And somehow we're gonna persevere. Somehow we're going to make it through. But right now,
yeah,
I think a lot of it is cover yourself, man. Don't this train's going to come off the tracks. It can't continue the way it is. Michael in the chat on YouTube has a good point, right? 13,000 air traffic controllers have not been paid, and don't appear to be paid anytime soon. And here's my next little piece of all this is what I keep hearing from the right is it's okay because somebody's going to step up and pay for it. It's okay to rip down the entire East Wing and 100 years of history because I got some private donors that are going to pay for it. I got some people, some companies and individual donors that are going to pay for it. It's okay to trash the government because now I saw something, I didn't have a chance to read it, but I saw something this morning that they've put together a private consortium of private donors to pony up 1.4 million or something to help pay federal workers. So it's okay because I'm going to twist the arm of private people, of my rich friends to make me look good, or I'm going to twist, or I'm going to bully these companies into ponying up the money, and it's okay. And people on the right who seem to be brainwashed don't understand that that's not the way this is supposed to work.
Well, and the other part of that is what, there's ABC and Google and a couple other companies I've heard made those donations or making. What benefits will they get on the back end? They're not,
oh, they're going to get something.
There's this whole idea of altruism, right? But in reality, I don't think there ever is any altruism, because altruism meaning that I give of myself freely, looking for nothing in return. Well, I think that if you only get the satisfaction of feeling good because you gave, that altruistic idea has been blown. And so I don't think they're just giving this for the goodness of, they're looking or they're getting something in return. Now, whether it's just they're feeling good and say I contributed, or which I doubt when you're billing hundreds of millions, I don't know, but it seems quite I don't know, quite unaligned with what we're saying it will take to run this country so that everybody is felt like they're part of it. I mean, I don't have 100 million. I don't have $100,000 to give to the White House ballroom.
I ain't got $10 to give to the White House ballroom at this point. I don't want to. But right, and that's part of it. It shouldn't be a personalized decision as to whether you support these things or not. There's processes for all of this stuff. And this guy just rip, tear, destroy, burn it to the ground, and then we'll figure out who's going to pay for it on the back end. And I understand Google and other companies paying because it's blood money. And Trump is more than willing to demonstrate what he does, what he will do if you don't want to play nice. And he's doing it to Canada right now. That's this story breaking in the last 24, 48 hours or so, that I guess the way the story goes is there was a commercial, a paid advertisement in Canada, a paid advertisement, not a government subsidized campaign or anything. This was somebody bought an ad, put it on a Canadian TV station that uses old footage of Ronald Reagan when he was in office. And in the speech, in the clip they use, Ronald is expressing that he doesn't believe tariffs work, that tariffs don't actually help the country that impose them, but actually hurt the country that imposed them. Donald claims it's fake when it's pretty obvious it's not fake. Many people remember the speech, actually, are still alive and remember the speech. That's the thing, Donald. You got to remember, if you're going to claim something's fake, you need people that weren't in person there to anyway. Claims it's fake and suspends all trade negotiations with Canada. In what world, in what mirror universe is that making us great again? In what mirror universe is that making it more difficult? It's making it more difficult to trade with one of our largest trade partners, our neighbors to the north. One of the easiest trade partners. How does that not hurt American business? I don't get it. I don't understand it. And
I well, ironically, that's probably not the best word, but I will use it. Ironically, today the World Series begins between Toronto, Canada, and Los Angeles, California.
Yeah, go Blue Jays!
What a oh my goodness, what a place that's going to be for all kinds of comments and memes and God knows what else, given this current atmosphere and statements of just pure madness. And I saw that commercial. I think it was actually Toronto that was highlighted in that
commercial. Okay.
Yeah, I saw the commercial with Reagan speaking, and I'm like, ooh, boy, this is gonna be a fun series and a fun storyline to see from political perspective how this plays out.
Yeah,
all of this stuff coming right at the holiday season, right? Which is starting right now, right? Thanksgiving and Christmas, that that whole little 6-week period, people are flying all over the place.
Yeah.
No air traffic controllers. We've seen batteries catch fire in the plane. We've seen them crash. We've seen them do all kinds of things. Imagine what's going to happen when you have more and more planes in the sky and less people who know what to do or have been trained long enough to do it effectively over the holidays.
Yep.
Big delays, exactly. Everything.
No offense to any of our friends in LA, but I'm rooting for the Blue Jays too, Michael. If the Blue Jays win, he'll just call it fake news, and he'll invite the Dodgers to the White House and to what's left of the White House, I guess, and try to, there's no way for the public to get into the White House anymore. That's the other thing here, dude, right? That was the public entrance. That's how the public was brought in and out of the building, to allow for tours, to allow the public to experience the White House. How is the public going to get into the White House now? They're not. He's completely shut off, and I haven't heard anything about it. So, all right, we're going to change subjects, or I'm going to get in trouble here with the somebody. Breaking news. Not all that surprising to me, but it would appear that all this rampant mobile betting that's going on in the country is starting to show the underbelly of it all. A number of basically an entire professional basketball team has been charged. Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, and others are involved in a mafia-style gambling ring using sports betting. The FBI probe, there's an FBI probe and arrests were made. This is all just happening, and Chauncey Billups was released from custody amid sports betting and mafia-backed poker charges. Somebody better let Pete Rose into the Baseball Hall of Fame is all I got to say on this. Like, put Pete Rose in the Baseball Hall of Fame and we can cover all this up. But until then, this is when the coach is involved, when the players are involved at a national level. How can we continue to say sports betting is a good thing at this point?
Well, and here's the thing. I'm still, I saw that yesterday. It just hung my head with John Denver player, grew up here in Denver. Great career basketball wise. I hadn't followed him much as a coach, but I think from what it seems, I don't know how much he had involved in the games, but I think one of the things he did was this card game thing where they had x-ray tables to read the cards face down. They had phony shuffling machines, and they would use high profile players like himself and the young man down in Miami to lure in big time players. And they said something like $7 million was lost, and one person or two people lost somewhere north of $1.3 million each. And we've just, as you said, we've given complete license to sports betting with great TV and radio and TikTok ads, and people, there's an addiction there. And the question, something that we know is addictive and destructive, yet because we are greedy, and you look at some of these players and coaches, I mean, you've made millions of dollars. Now, if you haven't mind your shop and you didn't take care of your money, I don't know what to tell you. But to go and take advantage of people because you have not managed your money, or you just playing greedy, is a problem, because it sets the stage for everybody to do it and just say, well, it won't be me who get caught, because I'm sure they thought that.
Yeah. And this information is just coming in now. Both Chauncey Billups, who is the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, and Terry Rozier from the Miami Heat have made large donations to the Trump Amelia Earhart Ballroom Fund. No, I'm joking.
No way.
No, I'm joking.
Okay. I was going to say.
But that's how this works, right?
Say, ooh, boy, this is going to get sticky right now. I mean, it's sticky enough.
That's how this works. Let's keep an eye on this one, folks. Let's use this as a litmus test. Let's keep an eye on this one, and let's see how long it takes for the FBI and the Department of Justice to clear these guys, but not until they somehow make some sort of donation to some sort of pet project of Donald J. Trump's. They're going to fund. They're going to buy a chair.
You think about. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean, but you just, that statement just made me think about it. I was trying to think of his name. The guy who got elected in New York out on the island for fraud and impersonation, identity theft, and everything. Complete sham. His whole thing was who he was, where he went to school, what he did, and everything. And Trump has given him immunity. I mean, he's wiped his slate clean. Now,
yep.
If I understand that correctly, he can go run again now because he doesn't have a felony record, and he doesn't have any of that. All that's been wrapped away. And so now he can come back and run again. And I'm like,
yep.
I don't know what favor he did. I don't know what chair he bought, but I'm sure there's something.
He sponsored a table. He bought a whole table for the ballroom. That's the way this thing's going to work, folks. He bought a whole table for the ballroom, and there'll be the George Santos. You bought this table. You bought out the American public because, and I want to remind people, the reason George Santos went to jail was because he was found guilty of stealing from a veterans nonprofit. he was taking money from veterans, taking money from a nonprofit dedicated to helping veterans. That's what he was found guilty of. And the fact that I want every veteran in this country to remember that the next time you see George Santos's name in the headlines or in an office. And to me, dude, everybody go buy a bullhorn, go get your cell phone, pump up the Imperial Galactic March, find a way, do something. And it can be something peaceful. It doesn't have to be something disruptive. It can be something peaceful. You can come out and, come sing some songs tonight at a song circle, or get out and be with your spiritual peeps and do the prayer work and do the consciousness work and be active in what's happening in our country right now. Because if somebody doesn't follow these guard troops, if somebody doesn't stand up and say, no, my construction company will not take this job, if somebody doesn't stand up to these bullies, yeah, go get a frog or a dinosaur costume. What a good frog outfit.
This trend that I've seen going around. Yeah. And see if we can get it to turn into something else, some transformation. I like that. But there's this concept when you're saying do something that I've seen spread around a couple of cities called the longest table or something like that, where people are getting together, large groups of people, and eating together in some form of community. I would say let's do that. Let's figure out a way in your community to create a spontaneous potluck, whatever. Everybody makes some soup and stews and breads and something simple. And block off your street if you can, and just have some communal time. Get to know your neighbor. Find out what they might need. Let them know what you might need. Think about your plants. I mean, if you go out of town and you don't have somebody to water your plants, or your sprinkler system ain't quite set up or whatever to get the plants, it gets the grass but not the plants. If you trust your neighbor, look, come over and water my plants. I'll come water yours when you leave. I mean, we don't have that kind of community anymore.
Yeah.
Or very few of them, at least. And what seems employees get who are highly educated, highly skilled, you got a problem.
Yep. I have seen the longest table thing, and I love the idea. Following last weekend, I jumped on to a website for the state of Colorado. It is remarkably easy and not all that expensive to get a permit for an assembly at the Colorado State Capitol. Not that hard. Yeah, there's a little bit of money involved, and depending on how many people you anticipate, which I guess is the hardest part, right? How do you, and you got to pay for porta johns and stuff like that, and it's kind of a union gig at that point. But so there are some costs involved, but it's remarkably easy in Colorado, actually, to look up the calendar of what events are scheduled, what events are permitted, and get an event permit for something like this. Mobilizing the people is always going to be part of the experience and the experiment, and getting enough people to come out to make something happen. But here's what I want to see, and we're going to wrap this up here shortly, folks. But in America, we have a tendency to protest when things are bad, when things don't look the way we want them to. And I think you're hitting on something here, Z, and the longest table is fitting into this. Is I want to see more events where we come out to celebrate that we are free, to celebrate that we are creating peace on earth, not just because some psychopath is running the White House, but because we are Americans, we are people, we are here together, we are the human family, we are the one, and bringing people together to have a good time, to celebrate our oneness rather than have to fight for it.
Right. We have to, we come on this show on Fridays to try and highlight areas of that warrant attention, right? We're not trying to stir the pot in any kind of negative or positive way. We're just trying to bring these events that are going on that you may not have awareness of. And our job after that is to cultivate a mindset of solving problems in a holistic, humanistic, earth-centered way. Earth-centered because that's where we live. And if we're not careful, we will destroy our home. Humanistic, right, because humans are all over the world. And if you needed a heart transplant, you wouldn't care too much if they were from Ukraine or Gaza. If they had a matching organ, you would want it. And then to look at everyone as a brother and sister and become the keepers. We can get beyond some of these things. There's always going to be ups and downs because that's just the nature of the universe. But we don't have to allow them to debilitate us or to cripple us or to turn us into villains because we've gotten greedy at the expense of everything else. And that's why I come here is for that. We'll highlight the issues, but now let's talk about some solutions to these things that can turn the corner or raise the awareness or save a life.
Well, there we are, folks. I'm with you, Z, right? We never promised to save the world. We never promised to, but our heart is in that space of how do we serve? How do we find a way to make, to alleviate this lunacy, to shift the flow of absurdity? Because that's what it feels like. It feels like the absurdity is just rising, and perhaps the frogs and the dinosaurs and the unicorns, and we were counting unicorns last weekend on Saturday. I think we counted 6 unicorns across the day, right? I ain't seen that many unicorns all in one place all at the same time. And right now, I want to see a lot of unicorns. I want to see a lot of frogs. I want to see a lot of dinosaurs. I want to see, I want people to recognize the absurdity that we're seeing in our country as both levity and the antidote, but also as the vision of what we are not here creating. We are not here to create a dystopian hellscape. We are not here to create an oligarchy. We are not here to create an authoritarian dictatorship. We are not here to create the destruction of the American way of life. We're here to build up. And sometimes you got to look at the ugliness to know where the healing needs to be.
Yeah. And you know, I advocate all the time. I will continue to advocate and practice. We need to begin to use the thesaurus that we have in our hands, called the phone, more often to come up with better words to describe things. The more we continue to put things in a either or binary kind of expression, it will continue to do what binaries do, separate. It will continue to create an either or state. And we know in a world where there are infinite possibilities, yes, there are the either or, which are sometimes needed, right? We need positive and negative to create electricity, but there are other options. There are other ways to get there, and there are ways that are above those to do the exact same thing. We as a people have to begin to speak to that, to act to that, and to literally become that alternative to this either or thinking that creates division, separation, and in a lot of cases, tons of confusion and abuse.
Yeah, exactly. All right, folks, that's about all the time we've got for today. I would encourage you, if you would like a very limited edition Ministers Talking Shit coffee mug or tea mug, you can head over to our website and get one. Very limited edition, as we've only printed a couple so far, but they're available. And there you go. I'm Dr. Robert. On behalf of my dear brother, Reverend Elzia Sekou, everyone here at New Thought Media Network, thanks for being part of the solution. Thanks for being part of what we're doing here on this network. We'll be back again next week. And of course, all of our regular programming throughout the day, the High Vibe Hour with Rev Skip and more, the Joy Show with Barbara Jean, the Good News at 5, the Fireside Chat at 6 with Pastor Michael Mangus. It's all a great day here on New Thought Media Network. We encourage you to stay involved, stay awake, and be love. There we go. Until next time, we're going to wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.
And thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ministers Talking. We'll be back again next week with more commentary on current affairs, world events, and any other our ministers want to talk about. And if you found value here, please share our with your friends. Until next time, peace and blessings.